Parents have expectations from us, but they often don't open up. You can't imagine your parent coming to you and telling you that, oh, I'm lonely.
Can you give me an example of a senior who probably would have felt really lonely at the time because they may have lost a spouse?
Till today, a lot of parts in our country, there are people who are not actually giving so much importance about keeping themselves fit, healthy, and about eating healthy and also living a chronic free life.
In terms of expectations between seniors who are 70 plus today that they have from their kids versus people who are in their 40s and 50s, what is going to change in the expectations that when they become seniors they'll have from their kids?
So a lot of seniors don't like to be called as senior citizens. A lot of seniors also feel pride in being called as a senior because they get that kind of respect.
The 55 plus audience, that is changing a lot. I think we are going to see a generation that is more independent, very tech savvy, understands financial independence much more than generations prior. That is a great opportunity for someone who wants to just start working in the space. Can do this in a micro level. Can you make great money out of it? Probably not in the beginning, but I think once a community develops, there's eventually enough ways where you can monetize that.
If you actually see what people pay for, people actually pay for experiences. And like whatever you're building, if you can build a nice experience around it, people will pay.
Hi, welcome to the 5th episode of Proactive Aging by Saya, previously known as Longevity Lounge. At Saya, we help Indians above the age of 50 and younger age with independence through our structured health programs that follow a PPR approach: preventive, proactive, and reactive. In this podcast, we have with us Hemanshu Jain, the founder and CEO of Khyaal, India's #1 community-led platform. Join us on this journey as we talk to Hemanshu about his journey, Khyaal, how community-led aging is going to be even more important in India, and much more. Thank you so much, Hemanshu, for joining us.
Thank you, Karan, for having me here.
Yes. So you mentioned to me when we last met that Khayal started from a conversation that you had with your dad during the lockdown. Can you tell me a little more about that?
Yeah, of course. I mean, the genesis of Khayal started from the fact that, I was working in the space of diabetes where I saw, a lot of challenges with the elderly who were getting very overwhelmed with all the devices around them. So it sort of became like an obsession for me to create accessible products, not only just for, the cohort of people that we were catering to, but also for people with motor related disabilities, even people who have partial blindness or, any kind of disability. So while I was doing that, I realized that seniors used to find it very challenging to work with devices around them. And at the same time, I was seeing a parallel story happening at my home with my own dad that, my dad was often struggling with his Netflix. He would struggle with other things, with regards to his DTH setup, his television, sometimes even with the air condition and so on and so forth. And you would keep calling me that, ye kaisa karna hai, how do I do this and that? And that's how I discovered that it was challenging for him. But when I was spending time with him at home, I realized how lonely his journey had become post my mom passed away in 2008 to cancer. And that's when I decided that I need to build something for seniors, especially from the perspective of their happiness, from the perspective of, aging gracefully, and also to create a purpose of life. Because what I saw was my mom passed away. My dad did not know exactly what to, how to function. Both of us, we were at home, like two kids, sort of like in a hostel room, everything messy at home. We were ordering food every day from outside. And of course, I mean, we were depressed because of my mom passing away. But eventually, my wife came into our lives and she put us in order. So a lot of credit to her, to help us. And that's where, women play a very important and special part in our lives. That's why I discovered from my father that, parents have expectations from us, but they often don't open up. And they will not want to discuss things with you. Like, you can't imagine your parent coming to you and telling you that, oh, I'm lonely. I'm feeling lonely. It is looked down upon by people. So they will never tell you this, but you have to observe and find out. And once I observed that, then I said, nobody's building for this aspect. Everybody's building for post care related solutions where seniors are already dependent on someone. So that's where I saw like a really wide, space that we could build, more meaningful products. And I started building Khayal. So that was the genesis of Khayal.
Nice, nice. And how are the early days like? How did you come to Khayal in the current form that it is? How are the early days like? And
Yeah.
what led you to believe that this is the form factor?
Yeah. To be honest, we didn't know what we were gonna build. So the thought of Khayal also came. Khayal ka khayal aise aaya that, when I was thinking about taking care of my father, Khayal was a very common word that we were using those days. And then I was like, let's just check online if the domain is available. And I found the domain somehow, booked it. And then my co-founder Pratish and I, we, dabbled on, whether we should call it Khayal or not, and then thinking about logo and what we are gonna build. So it took us a good 2 to 3 months to even decide upon the brand name. But we were sure that we are going after this TG and we are gonna build something for this audience. So we knew what we were going after. But I feel it's very important to experiment in the beginning. So, when we started experimenting, we were able to break a lot of our own notions as well. So we used to think that children are going to pay. But yeah, of course, children will pay because of the guilt that they live, where they are not living with their parents. They want to, they want someone to take care of their parents. But when you speak to their parents, parents don't want to outsource care.
Yeah.
And that was a very big learning for us. We initially started off with a, concierge kind of a service, digital concierge, where NRIs started paying us and we were calling their parents every day. But parents were not picking up our call. And we were like, why is this happening? And then when we had a conversation with parents, they said, we don't want to talk to you. We want to actually talk to our own children. Like our children are outsourcing this to somebody else's thing that it was not acceptable for them. So that's how, we discovered that certain experiments will fail, but then we kept on experimenting. And the easiest way of experimentation is to be able to, for us, it was community building. So we thought, why not, understand it from the TG, what they want. So, which is where we took a turn of, starting to build a community on WhatsApp. And then it grew to such a large, audience in our community with more than 3 lakh seniors now in our community. So, sorry, 30 lakh,
Wow.
30 lakh, 30 lakh seniors in our community.
Wow.
Yeah.
So before we obviously get into how Khayal works,
Hmm.
I want to ask a personal question to you.
Yeah.
What do you hold important to yourself as a person as you age? And what will be some non-negotiables for you when you see yourself at 90?
Look, aging, aging has to change, like today, if you look at advertisements, and when you have to show a senior citizen, they are shown as, frail people, sitting in a wheelchair or with a, stick in their hand and like a very sad sort of a scenario. But that's true to a certain degree, but not every senior is like this today. We have to change that narrative. We have to change aging as a whole thing together. Today, when, children in my building society call me uncle, I already feel that, I've become a senior. And as you age, people are gonna call you uncle, say it is going to go, and they're gonna call you a senior citizen. So a lot of seniors don't like to be called as senior citizens. A lot of seniors also feel pride in being called as a senior because they get that kind of respect. So every senior is different, I would say. Um, but now as we move from one generation to the other, we're going to see a whole new perspective around aging because people are living longer, they are much more healthier because of the advancement of science and tech. And people are becoming much more aware about taking care of themselves. So we're going to see a lot more fitter seniors, and we're going to see how Japan has panned out in terms of aging. Aging is going to completely change in India.
Fair enough. And when you speak about this changing generation, for instance, right? What what do you think will be different in terms of expectations between seniors who are 70 plus today that they have from their kids versus people who are in their 40s and 50s? What is going to change in the expectations that when they become seniors they'll have from their kids?
Yeah. So look, I'm 40.
Okay.
I turned 40 this year. Okay. And when I look back at my dad's time when he was, around the very same age, they would not give a lot of importance in terms of keeping themselves fit.
Yeah.
Uh, till today, in a lot of parts in our country, there are people who are not actually giving so much importance about, keeping themselves fit, healthy, and about eating healthy, and also living a chronic free life. You don't need chronic conditions in your life, otherwise it's just gonna keep on progressing. So a lot of people are not giving that importance, but there are people now in the urban areas, a lot of them giving importance to that. So the difference in the generation is very, very visible. I work out, a lot of people in my team work out, everybody is giving a lot of importance to healthy practices in terms of food, in terms of physical activities, and so on and so forth. So I see when we age and we go to the age of 70, we would want to be much more fitter. And now people are also aware, a lot of them, especially in our age group, that mobility is very much important, because when we see our parents, we are seeing that there are mobility issues.
Yeah.
And mobility is also important from the perspective of muscle.
Yeah.
So as you know that, males lose muscle every year to a certain degree, and which is why building muscle is very important for males. And at the same time, protein is very important, because India as a country has a very protein deficient diet. So having the right amount of protein is important. So all of these things are coming up, and people are paying a lot of importance towards health. So when I see difference in terms of thought process from our generation to our parents' generation, that has drastically changed. And when we grow old, we will see, our children to be much more fitter
Yeah.
than what we are.
No, I think that's definitely there. But I'm saying from the expectation outside of course, health, etc. My thinking is that people who are in the 40s and 50s today will be relatively, in fact, much more independent than people in the 70s, and they will not expect their kids to live with them. They will not expect their kids to be around. So, um, it's very, very important for, people in their 40s and 50s, especially to take charge, because I think as urban family dynamics in India change, especially in cities like Mumbai where we live, where anyway space is a big constraint, eventually you will find most people living apart from their parents, even if they live within the same city. And that then becomes very, very important for them to be independent, to stay healthier, to stay fitter, and all of those things, so that they don't put that unfair burden of managing their health on their kids, as say today we as kids do for our parents, or we see our parents do for our grandparents who are in their 70 plus. Because that's the Indian traditional culture that has happened thus far, and that's the collectivist nature of society that we live in as Indians.
Yeah, so that expectation has been changing over a period of time. Like, we started off with that whole narrative as well. You know, uh, today as well, in our generation, there are a lot of people of our age who are not living with their
Right.
with their parents. This is also, the expectation setting has been done from a very early childhood, because people are bringing up their children from that notion that, okay, I'm going to give you a very good education, then you're going to probably move either to a bigger institute, Ivy League institutes, either in India or maybe somewhere abroad. So geography is not something which is a problem, and people are setting that expectation from very early standpoint, that whatever is best for you, we want the best for you.
Yeah.
So feel free to just move out whenever you want. And but what doesn't change as Asians, I would say, or rather, I would say as Indians, is the bond that we, have with our parents. And this bond is very, very strong. It can never go away. And this is also partly because of the culture, the rich culture and heritage that we have, which has been passed down, by generations.
Thousands of years.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
exactly.
Fair enough. Now, for those unfamiliar,
Hmm.
what is Khayal in your own words?
So Khayal is a community-led tech platform for the elderly. It's like we call it as a super app for seniors, but seniors call it as the happiness club, like the digital club for themselves. So what we did is that when we built the whole community, we asked the community to guide us what they wanted. So every feature today on the Khayal app is designed from the perspective of what seniors wanted. So on Khayal, we have daily activities, to keep them physically and mentally fit. There are entertainment based sessions. These are all free for seniors to attend. Once they like the platform, that is when they pay a small subscription fee to join the Khayal Club, which is priced at just 999 rupees, very affordable. And this is an annual subscription.
Yeah.
With that, they get, whenever they attend these sessions, they get Khayal coins, which are like loyalty points. So we have brought in the whole winning aspect, because what we observed is that seniors stop winning in life after their professional career. So we thought that seniors, the winning should never stop for seniors. So there are Khayal coins. They can go and redeem these Khayal coins on a reward section. Plus, they also participate in a lot of activities using these coins. So it becomes competitive for them also. And then there's a Khayal card, which is built from the perspective of removing the fear of doing online transactions and the various kinds of digital frauds which are targeted towards seniors in our country. We also started the whole senior friendly tours, the Khayal tours, where we take care of a lot of accessibility related factors, a lot of healthcare related factors during the whole tour.
Yeah.
And this is designed not only from the perspective of leisure, but also spirituality, because spirituality is a huge part of what seniors cultivate during the retirement life. And apart from that, there are post retirement job, for seniors. We've got a fun zone where seniors come and do a lot of things. There's something called as reminiscence therapy, which is available there, where you can use AI to regenerate photos for yourself, and which, fires all the neurons in your brain, and, you can live your old memories. You can, regain them. At the same time, there's an AI based concierge on the platform, so that seniors can take help from, of course, the AI first, but then, our team comes forward and does all the, tasks for them. So yeah, it's a holistic platform which is designed from the perspective of being healthy, wealthy, and wise, which are the three basic values of anybody's life.
That's great. So now that you've walked me through this suite of services that you have, can you break it down into, say, 3 or 4 service lines that you majorly concentrate on under the Khayal community-led platform? And then maybe a little description of each of those service lines as well. Maybe some sub features that they might have under them, etc.
Yeah. Things that make us money, I'll tell you. Of course, the Khayal subscription, we've got like more than about 1 lakh subscribers now on the platform and growing very rapidly, which of course, gives us revenue. We have Khayal Tours, which gives us revenue because it's a high AOV product, and the kind of service that we provide to seniors love it. And this, we've got like more than 60% repeat ratio, because when seniors like it, they tell it to other people, and then it becomes very, very sticky. The third feature which brings us revenue is the digital gold feature. We thought, why not help seniors also grow their wealth. And in our country, if you see, gold is also very spiritual in nature, because people buy gold during auspicious days, and nobody likes to sell gold. People just like to keep gold, and it's also a safe asset class, because even if you lose your faith towards a particular currency, still you'll never. Yeah, gold is always going to be, which is why we call everything as gold standards. Also, if anything becomes popular. So gold, of course, is a huge part of seniors' life. We said, why not bring in the whole investing aspect towards gold. So we partnered with Carrot Lane, the Tata Tanishq partnership, and now seniors are doing SIPs on gold, and they are doing goal based SIPs. When I say goal, it could be a goal like collecting money for your vacation. It could be for your grandchildren's wedding, or it could be grandchildren ka education, whatever their goals that they have, and we help them plan that.
Nice.
And they invest in small micro transactions of gold. It could be less as 100 rupees or 10 rupees also on the platform. So in the last 1 year, we have been able to help seniors grow their wealth by about 35%.
Wow.
So seniors love us for that. At the same time, there is e-commerce on the platform. And we've partnered with a lot of products and services which are designed for seniors. So when
Some
the-
examples.
yeah, some examples could be like there is a brand called Sugar Watches, which has low glycemic index rice. Seniors love to, buy that. We have Simon's, which has a range of products, which is, like a toilet seat razor, or even a toilet seat kind of a thing, which, seniors buy on the platform. Adult diapers. Then there are walking sticks. There are also items like, gold coins, even silver related, spirituality based items that seniors buy. So it's a whole, catalog of different products that is a huge part of seniors' life. And again, this came from seniors, that we came to know what they wanted, and we kept on bringing that on our e-commerce part, and then it's just
So I think
making us
the
money.
revenue lines that you've broken down to me, correct me if I'm wrong, is the subscription, is the tours,
The
it's
gold, the
the
digigold feature,
DigiGold and financial wealth planning, I think, under one
comes
umbrella,
yeah,
and the e-commerce.
the e-commerce, right? Yeah.
When you and about the entertainment and the community building aspect, what are the kind of activities that you've hosted for seniors, and which activities have worked phenomenally?
Yeah.
For instance, along the lines of, say, just music or entertainment or
Sure.
spirituality, what has worked phenomenally well that you've continued to double down on and continuously organize those activities again and again?
Yeah. Look, all the, workshops, or I would rather, call it as content, was designed from the perspective of keeping seniors physically and mentally active. And this is also, stems out from the philosophy of, delaying the whole onset of dementia and Alzheimer's among seniors. A lot of it was research based. And we start our day every day with yoga, meditation, Zumba, things which, can imbibe physical movement, mobility for seniors. And those are very popular among seniors, and we have tried and tested multiple of them. Of course, yoga is very popular among seniors. The second half of the day is divided into learning, and learning could be either a hobby, it could be origami, craft, art, painting, it could be singing, and we also bring on a lot of people from outside to come and give guest, lectures on certain topics like healthcare. So a doctor or a physician would come and talk about, osteoporosis, or rather bone health care, or it could be things around, ophthalmology, things around dental care, things around mobility, and geriatric subjects, which can help seniors to be much more fitter. Um, Other than that, we've also done a lot of sessions around digital fraud, which is very prevalent in our country. So we guide seniors how to avoid situations of fraud, because it is targeted towards them. So there have been multiple workshops. We've also conducted a lot of workshops around finance as a topic. So done by seniors, by the way. So these are seniors who have been in big positions from a finance perspective in bigger companies like L&T and all, and they come and give talks around how money matters
Yeah.
to them. Things around taxation, things around will planning, and so on and so forth. So finance as a topic is a big cohort. Then usually we end the day with entertainment, and entertainment could be in form of either tambola, or bingo or sudoku. Yes, housey and tambula
Okay.
the same, but yeah, people call it differently in different geography. Um, but yeah, that and then music related sessions, dancing, and many other entertainment based sessions. So that's how we plan the whole day. And the catalog is created from Monday to Friday. And we've extended now even to Saturdays because of the high demand.
Yeah.
But of course, we are humans and our team also needs a break. So we give them a.
And are all of these providers in-house?
Most of the catalog is, the content is created in house, but we also call guests from outside who will come and, talk about their specialty in terms of what they, specialize in.
Say for a music session, for instance, or a yoga session, right?
Mm.
Is it a trainer training all of the people online?
Yes.
And that trainer is somebody you employ full time, is it?
No, we have freelance trainers as well, and trainers do it on a session basis as well. There are a lot of trainers who do it on a freelance basis, but there are trainers who we have on our payroll as well. So both.
Both sides of the coin.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
got it. Understood. What difference have you noticed in the adoption of seniors who, heard about Khayal themselves or from their peer group and then signed on to it and now have eventually become a big part of it, versus the seniors whose remote adult caregivers encourage them to join it? Have you seen any difference over there?
Of course, children try and recommend to their parents, but those recommendations are not taken very seriously, is what we have observed. A lot of people are, of course, trying to, route it through the adult children to their parents as well. But for us, it has not worked. And for us, what has worked is seniors signing up by themselves and mostly being recommended by their friends. And look at us as well. Like if you recommend me something today, it is like I'm gonna take it much more seriously than somebody who's junior to me is gonna tell me, or rather, if my child tells me, But that thing is also changing now as we are growing in the age of technology. I have a daughter who's 10 years old who comes and teaches me a lot of things that I probably might not know. So that I feel that neuroplasticity is increasing in the new generation of seniors.
So, what initiatives did you start at Khayal that eventually you had to do away with?
So as I mentioned earlier, we had to when we were experimenting in the early days, we had started with a concierge service where we were, the children were paying, NRI children were paying, and then we were calling them every day to check upon them and see if we can, help them with their daily necessities. We had to shut that down because we realized that care cannot be outsourced. So that was one of the things, very early that we shut as a product offering. But other than that, I would say we experimented with a few others as well. For example, we used to send medicine reminders, and seniors told us that look, we already have a set way to remember our medicines. We have our own pill boxes. We have our own ways to remember it. Your messages actually disturb us. So don't send us anything. And so we had to shut that down. These are things that people think which are like low hanging fruits which can be easily solved for seniors, but actually those, yeah, it becomes a disturbance for them. Also, we don't know exactly what part of the schedule they are at. So if you call them on a given day, they could be busy doing something. They could be busy doing certain chores at home. So those things when we initially experimented, it did not work.
Fair enough. India has always been a collectivist and social society, but
Hmm.
increasingly loneliness has become a rising epidemic,
Yeah.
especially in urban cities like Mumbai, where while we're with so many people, we're alone. Can you give me an example of a senior who probably would have felt really lonely at the time because they may have lost a spouse? Without naming them, can you give me an example and that person then came on to Khayal and has now become an integrated part of the community?
Yeah. I mean, we have a lot of stories like this in Khayal.
One that stands out.
Yeah, of course. And a lot of them are also, by the way, on our blog. One of the seniors that I would like to talk about, she had lost her husband. All her life, she depended financially on her husband. And uh, she did not know after that, how to function all of a sudden. And today, she runs her own boutique and she is running a very successful business. So she joined Khayal because she had seen us in one of the WhatsApp groups that one of her friends had recommended that we are gonna play Tambola on Khayal. Why not join? So she joined and she found it very interesting. And then she also opened up to a lot of things, saying that she's feeling depressed and she does not want to she does not have anything to do in life. So in terms of purpose of life is what I'm trying to say. And we have a in-house psychologist and we do sort of like support group sessions for seniors. She became a part of those sessions. I mean, we do this very often. We teach people how to grieve, how to accept, how to also come up with new interesting things in life to give them a new purpose, and so on and so forth. So she started drawing, she because drawing is very therapeutic.
Yeah.
And she kept us sending her drawings. And then she realized that she is actually very good at designing. And then she also designed clothes. So she's been doing this for a while now.
Very interesting. Wow. Yeah. Because I've seen this personally as well with my grandmother. When she lost my grandfather, I think for a long period in her life, there was a lull which was very unexplained. We lost him, I think, at 67 or 68. And she also went through a period of lull. Only I think when she discovered a peer group of friends that had common interests, that somebody she could speak to every day, connect with beyond just family, I think is when we started to see her bounce back. And I think she's been happier than ever. In spite of battling a lot of health complications, I think she's got that purpose and that will to keep going and keep living, because now she not only has family, but she has a circle of friends who she found, by the way, in her 60s, that she cares enough about. That's it. Obviously, at the time, there was no structure around it like what you're bringing to, I think she found them here and there and they just got pieced together. And so that's very unique to see that at least people who may not have anyone else to connect with can at least go onto this platform and find like-minded people doing like-minded activities and connect with them without any expectations. Right. I mean, I'm enjoying a certain activity with you. I continuously enjoy getting better at that with you. But do we do we have to meet in person? Maybe, maybe not. There's none of that expectation is there. So that's actually very unique to see. And I would have loved to have that earlier, but glad that is there today. The 55 plus audience, as also as a part of one of my earlier questions as well, that is changing a lot. I think we are going to see a generation that is more independent, very tech savvy, understands financial independence much more than generations prior, is the first sort of cohort of seniors that will be a part of the internet generation. What features of Khayal do you visualize adding to cater to this group of 55 plus, 60 plus year olds when they come into that cohort?
I think healthcare is going to become a huge part of what we'll build. And of course, you are also doing something which is towards longevity at Saya Care. So kudos to you, for identifying this very early and, starting to build.
Thanks.
So we don't like to reinvent the wheel. And
Yeah.
I've been a very big believer of working in partnership with multiple companies. And in fact, since we are a marketplace, we would build healthcare programs with a lot of people who are doing good work in longevity in healthcare. And I think going forward, insurance is also going to change a lot from this perspective, because insurance is now seeing this happening at scale. You're seeing that a lot of people are going to live longer, but it's actually good for them because
Yeah.
they are gonna it's gonna reduce their burden of claim settlements. They're also taking a lot of I would say learnings from the West, from the US. insurance market. Everything is like rapidly evolving. So I think insurance is gonna change. Healthcare is going to be a huge part, and we are still thinking around what needs to be built. But again, keeping center, the seniors at the center, the
Yeah.
end user at the center, and designing new features would be our methodology, and we will let them decide what they need. But yeah, healthcare, of course, is going to be a huge, huge part of what we
So
do.
do you imagine, like, say what we do, which is we have 4 to 13-month long programs. Typically, most of our clients come for the 4-month program as 13 months becomes too daunting for them. Something on those lines, would you also look at instituting health programs, say either for diabetes reversal, for hormonal imbalance, or for the hypertension management, etc.? Would you create those programs which are very immersive, very deep, having a set of providers, or would you collaborate, or are there models that you're still exploring in that?
Yeah, we're exploring.
Yeah.
But again, as you rightly said, we will we would like to bring on a lot of partners. So the choice will be, with the customer to sort of choose which program works
This.
best for them. Because there will be people who programs which will be very good for a focused condition. It could be for diabetes, it could be for hypertension, it could be for cardiovascular, it could be for even fitness and endurance,
Yeah.
right? So there could be a lot of these mini cohorts, so people can choose.
For instance, a cohort that wants to train for a half marathon next year.
Yeah,
That can be one.
yeah. A lot of seniors are, by the way,
Yeah.
they love doing marathons. We have done walkathons.
Yeah, and the run clubs especially focused on a 55 plus, 60 plus year old age groups. Because I don't know if you've been seeing this in Bombay. I think run clubs are becoming a big thing, especially if you see Sunday mornings from between Nariman Point to, I think, Valkeshwar, you'll see about 3 or 4 run clubs with 50, 60 plus people
Yeah.
doing these runs. The run clubs that I see today have younger people in it. Can we maybe create a run club which is focused on 55 plus, 60 plus year olds? Have someone pacing them and guiding them through the journey, having points where they can stop, recalibrate, get some rest. If they want to drop out, obviously, if they're not able to continue with the dropout, and have additional care taken so that nothing goes wrong and it's done in a safe but fun manner.
Yeah.
I think that is a great opportunity for someone, we can also do it, but even someone else who wants to just start working in this space can do this at a micro level. Can you do anything? Can you make great money out of it? Probably not in the beginning, but I think once a community develops, there's enough ways where you can monetize that.
True. And I mean, just to double click on that, if you actually see what people actually pay for experiences. And like whatever you're building, if you can build a nice experience around it, people will pay.
Yeah.
And that's what we've learned at Khayal, because when we started building greater and good experiences for seniors, they loved us for that, and which is why they're paying. And a lot of our competitors and other clubs which are trying to build things which are very similar to Khayal, they often ask us like, how come your customers are paying and our customers don't want to pay? And I tell them this, that if you build a very good experience, people will pay for it.
Yeah.
So it's all about that experience that you should, like, if you go to a restaurant, and if it is a premium restaurant, food could be the same food that you could get in a smaller restaurant also, but you're paying a premium because of the experience and not for anything else. So yeah, that's the way to go about it.
Speaking of restaurants, I think just a little offshoot, I think
Yeah.
cooking must be a very, very dear task that people above that age group, above 55, 60 might like doing, especially women of that generation. Can you walk me through one of the cooking classes that you might have had that maybe you had the privilege of attending yourself as
Yeah.
well?
So of course, if you look at the whole, population of seniors, 60% are women, and because women age better, and also, they live longer. So in our Khayal community also, we have a lot of women, and especially they love to cook. So we have had so many cooking competitions and contests in Khayal, that there are a lot of brands also who have participated along with us to create these contests, to make it much more interesting. And there have been brands who came to us saying that, hey, I have a protein supplement which is for older adults. Why don't, we create like a contest around that? So we created that, and then, it became like healthy cooking for seniors.
Wow.
And it's just not, I mean, I'm not going to be gender biased. It's also a lot of men today who are interested in cooking, because, they have so much time at hand. And cooking is a social activity. People get involved, families come together to cook and then enjoy the food. So people find it very amazing to, cook food, call people and have that social gathering. And it creates a lot of engagement for families, I would say. So yeah, cooking is a big cohort.
Are they given one dish that each person has to cook, and then there's a jury that tastes it like Master Chef and then rates
We've
them?
not been able to do it.
Or is it like you prepare the best of whatever you have, and
Yeah.
then we'll see if that item that you've prepared is far better than some other item that somebody else might have prepared?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we have done, theme-based cooking. Like if you want to bake something, healthy baking as a concept, or rather, Indian dishes. It could be also seasonal, like, from the perspective of festivals.
Yeah.
Because Diwali, people want to cook sweets, and
Yeah.
so those kind of cohorts we've built. Uh, and in that, we don't have a thing of, tasting. It's just the presentation, and they have to submit a video.
Okay.
And then video is about, families trying it. We have
But
to
there's no
come up.
winner loser, right?
There is winning. Of course, there is winning, because winning is a huge part of seniors' life now. Because if winning stops in life, you don't have motivation to look forward. So winning has to be there. So we've created winning, of course, for seniors. But there's no jury, because it's logistically not possible for us to get their dishes. Because seniors are all over India who participate on our app. So
How often do you organize physical events?
um, now the propensity of physical events is increasing. Earlier, it used to be lesser. We used to do like, one event a month, or sometimes even one event in 2 months, or even a quarter.
And is it predominantly in Mumbai only?
No, it's all over the country. We've done events in Kochi, we've done in Chennai, Coimbatore, we've done in Delhi, Bangalore, of course, multiple times, and then yeah, many other cities. But this year we are doing a lot of events, because we are doing 50 above 50, which is the talent hunt for seniors. So it's about, celebrating 50 different talents of seniors, and felicitating them for the good that they do. And at the same time, encouraging them to have a new purpose in life from the whole Ikigai concept.
Yeah.
So yeah, so 50 above 50 from that whole talent search. We are doing different events in like more than 20 cities
Wow.
in India this year. Yeah.
Can you speak a little more about that? Is it the first time you're doing it?
Yeah, this is the first flagship event we are doing it. And the reason we created is that, we see 30 under 30, 40 under 40.
Yeah.
But there's nothing like this for seniors. And we like, we should start something. So initially we thought 60 above 60, by the way. But then we have so many seniors who are 55 plus. And then there was a high demand of seniors wanting to join 50 plus as well. And everyone has talents. So we said, why limit it only to 60 plus? We said, let's open it up for as early as 50, so that people can start, practicing a particular interest group, a sort of like a hobby. Yeah, hobby very early in their lives, so that when they retire, they have something to look forward to. That's why we said, the second half of your life, 50 above 50.
50, yeah.
Yeah, that's how.
What are some of those competitions going to be? Like for what activities?
So of course, singing, dancing, writing, cooking, and even sports is a category. Marathon is a category. Things like stand-up comedy, magician,
Wow.
coin collector, numismatics, philately, stamp collectors. Collecting bikes or even vintage cars. Things like travel influencer or even financial influencer. So there are like 50 different categories where we are trying to get seniors to showcase their talents.
And when you spoke about Khayal's travel tours, What was the first time you decided to implement this, and where was the first trip? How many people came?
Yeah.
What challenges did you observe in that trip that you decided that you will overcome in the next one? What worked against your expectation and was even better? Can you speak about that first trip?
The first trip happened in there was a demand which came from seniors in December 2022. Seniors told us that look, all our children are going for their New Year parties and so on and so forth. They are traveling to countries. They are going to Goa here and there. We also want to have fun, and why not? Khayal community creates a group, and let's go out for a trip. And then they came to us saying that, why don't you create a tour for us? And that's how the demand came to us. So we said, December, of course, was very less time to organize that. So we took time, and then we created a tour for seniors to Goa in the month of Jan. And we took them there. And of course, the first trip was a whole new learning for us because we could see their mobility issues. We could see that how seniors are even ashamed of, getting a walking stick. Even if they need it, they will not want to bring it or rather purchase it. They were ashamed of even asking for a wheelchair and things around, frequent urination. Prostate enlargement is very prevalent
Yeah.
in seniors. So they would worry that what if I don't find a place to go to the restroom. So they ask questions in terms of how is this going to be organized. Plus, this is also about removing fear of travel from their minds. So a lot of children, when they found out that their parents have traveled with Khayal, they reached out to us saying that, wow, you guys are doing a great job. And then they started forming tours themselves as well because their parents were actually afraid on going out on family vacations. So we've helped them remove that fear as well.
Right.
There were a lot of other challenges that we saw about accessibility. So, like, if there is a slope near the hotel, it's not something which is advisable. A lot of walking is not advisable during the tour because you have to look at their mobility again. So we design the tours in such a way that the itinerary is senior friendly and things which seniors like, to go and see. And not only just about sightseeing, but we also create a lot of engagement during the whole tour. So there are a lot of fun games, activities which seniors love to participate.
Wow. And how long was that Goa trip?
It was about 5-day trip,
Okay.
like 5 nights, 4 days, 5 nights. So
Nice.
it was fun.
Nice, nice. You've been working in this space with Diabeto and then even now Khayal for about, I think, more than a decade now. What are some white space opportunities that you see for people to build in classic Nikhil Kamath style? For what are the white space opportunities that you see for people to build in for the silver economy of India, which is projected to be worth 12, 15 plus billion dollars by 2030, as we're losing our demographic dividend? What are some opportunities that somebody can tap into?
Of course, as I said, healthcare is going to be a huge, huge cohort. Although building healthcare businesses has been very difficult in India, um, but I think a lot of startups have already fought the battle for new startups to come and build in this, uh, because they've created a lot of awareness. Like for example, Healthify Me,
Hmm.
Goki, a lot of other startups in healthcare. They've already created a narrative. And even back then, when we were building Diabito, the biggest challenge was to create awareness around diabetes. So I think the awareness has been created now. So healthcare could be a very big opportunity for India.
Outside of
Uh, Outside of health, I feel travel is, of course, a big one. But again, that may become like a red ocean very soon because everybody is trying to build that. So there will be, but it's a very huge market. So everybody will have like a very large share of pie. So to and obviously whoever builds the best experience is gonna win. Food will become a very big. Anything that you can build on food from the perspective of healthy eating can be a very big
So like a custom
opportunity.
meal prep service and delivery.
That could be one of it, but again, nutraceuticals or even protein, like plant-based proteins are becoming very popular today because a lot of people in India are not
Although
very
I think that's a red ocean already now.
yeah,
It
yeah,
is fairly,
yeah, but I think there is still a lot of opportunity because till today, it's only the urban population which is going after protein.
yeah.
The majority of the rural
Tier
population,
3.
yeah, tier two, tier three, and the rural population still believe in, consumption of food from the perspective of getting their protein from. But what they are lacking in terms of their understanding is from the perspective of absorption. So the formulas which are created from a very, high absorption mechanism. But again, again, it's all about awareness.
Yeah.
Once people become aware, they are gonna start doing that. So food is a huge opportunity. Finance is a huge opportunity because seniors, have spent their entire life making money for themselves, but now this is their time to spend money.
Yeah.
So they are spending on experiences, but then they also want their wealth to keep growing, and at the same time they want to grow their wealth and utilize it. Although products like reverse mortgage has worked phenomenally well in the West, but in India that has not worked very well with banks as well. So a lot of banking products have tried, like banks have tried building reverse mortgage, but it has failed massively because homes are like an emotion for
Yeah.
people in India. Nobody wants to sell their home because they've spent their entire life building that house. In fact, that's also something that we see when people are trying to decide to go into a senior living home. There's always like they oscillate between thriving on their own homes versus going into a senior living home. But from the perspective of isolation and loneliness, that is when they decide that, oh, let's go to a senior living home. So that's also another huge opportunity. Housing for seniors is a huge opportunity
Yeah.
in India.
I think 75% of senior living homes are in the south. And the south is, I think, maybe 30% of India's population. Just look at the wide opportunity that is there in the north.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of education has to follow, a lot of practicality has to follow. With the south, there's a better job at than, as we go northwards. Um, I, in fact, was speaking to someone from Antara, which is, I think, one of the largest senior living solutions right now. They have 3 facilities, one in Dehradun, 2 in NCR. The opportunity in even the western side of India, Maharashtra, Gujarat, and Rajasthan is immense. But of course, the capex and the operate, and it's very capex heavy, very opex heavy, and it has to come with a services plus real estate plus smart solution play all put together to target just say a 1 to 5% of the population that can even afford it. There's a great gap for that middle class, upper middle class section of the country which can't probably pay 5 to 8 crores to move into
Yeah.
um, an assisted real estate facility where they have to buy the unit, but maybe there is a provision where they can do it for something cheaper, or they can do leasehold, for instance. I think that's a great model.
Yeah, but there are a lot of new, companies which are building for this, by the way. There's a very interesting model from, Priya Senior Living Home.
Okay.
Arun Paul, the founder, shout out to him for, building a really nice, vibrant community, not only just in India, but also in the West. So they started from US,
Okay.
but they also saw that a lot of parents, shuttle between India and US. And generally, when they want to come to the US, they don't necessarily stay with their children
Hmm.
and their families. So they stay at Priya Living, right? And then when they want to come back here, there's again a Priya Living here, which they can go and move around. So they have multiple Priya Living homes, and then people can choose
Membership of such.
yeah, so you don't necessarily have to buy the property. You can just move around in different homes. So, you are moving around and enjoying your time with different communities and different people. You're meeting new people all the
While
time.
retaining your independence.
Exactly. So that is one of the models. There is another startup called Bodhi Care. Ex Swiggy guys are building it. They are building again like sort of like a WeWork style of a model for senior living, where you just get a pass and you go in multiple different homes and live with. And plus, they are trying to bridge the intergenerational gap as well. So then, that isolation from the other generations is not happening. And even shout out to Primus. They are building these nice blue zones in different parts of the country where people can actually go and do a lot of things together. So yeah, they're also
I
building
think
some.
community is going to be very, very important. People need touch points with each other. For anyone building in this space, I think they have to crack that. Unless obviously a service like ours is a more one-on-one, health focused. There's not as much of a need for community just yet. There definitely will be down the line. But if suppose somebody wants to build in this space from most other services, I think the importance of community is going to play a very, very vital role, especially when it comes to senior living solutions or activities for seniors, which are predominantly online. So, yeah, I think then these companies are doing a good job. While you spoke about some senior living companies which have physical infrastructure to support the community ecosystem, can you maybe talk about some other startups that are working in this space in ways that, well, whatever, whichever other startups that you have come across that you really admire and what they're doing for everyone watching?
Yeah, of course. Of course, you being one of them,
I'm
and
very
you're
glad you
building
mentioned.
something good. So, very excited for your journey at Saya Care. There are a lot of, friends who are building in this space. There's Neeraj Sagar who's building Wisdom Circle. He's, a lot of respect to that man because he's building the whole age tech community in India. He's building for the purpose of life again, post retirement job opportunities, and we've partnered with them. Um, Other startups, if I can mention, KuboCare has built something, in the AI based fall detection mechanisms, and they're building a lot of other sensors as well, which can help healthy aging, and also from the AI perspective. There are one of my other startups, that I would like to talk about is Careflix, which is building AI based caregivers. And these caregivers can actually fit into any sort of role. It could be either for healthcare needs or
Concierge.
for concierge, for anything, and they're building it for, it's more of a B2B, B2B2C kind of a platform. So they're building like at a global scale. So yeah, very excited for their journey as well. Then there are a lot of longevity startups, like Decode Age is building something really good in that. There is BioPeak, Shiva. I'm a big fan of Shiva. I've met him multiple times now, and what an interesting personality. I think he's like the Brian Johnson of India.
Does it look like that as well?
Oh yeah, he's super fit. You have to meet him. He's super super fit,
Okay.
and he does not look his age at all. His office turns into a dojo in the evening,
Wow.
and you should go and check it out. So very interesting personality. We often talk a lot around.
Bruce Parr as well.
No, yeah, no, I didn't. I didn't. But yeah, both of us, we love history and we love the discipline that Japanese people have. And I'm a numismatist, so I also like to, learn a lot of things around history. So, we share a lot of common interests.
Nice.
So yeah, Biopeak is doing a phenomenal job. I think Imoha is doing a really good job in terms of healthcare and emergency care. And they also have dementia care centers. Atulya is doing a
Yeah.
great job there from the healthcare perspective. So a lot of good startups in India, and a lot of respect to people doing good job. Uh, and some of them we have partnered, some of them we are soon to partner.
Yeah.
But I think this is going to be a collaborative, movement, sort of to because the goal is same.
Yeah.
The mission is same, and we are all
I think
working.
startups like ours, which have specific services, I think can leverage the platform that you've
Yeah.
created to reach out to clients and actually meaningfully work with them. And that is something very unique. I think we need catalysts like you, like Neeraj, and like others who are, binding people like us together and helping us mutually achieve goals. I think This is one of the only spaces where I feel like there's no competition. I think it's just collaboration that can
Yeah,
help achieve a
we
lot of things.
this was one of the very big learnings that I had back in the time, when I was building Diavito. This was again taught to us by one of our mentors. His name is Nathan Harding. He's the founder and CEO of Exobionics. So he told us that, look, you should never look at competition as competition. Competition is also going to be a very healthy thing for you, because that's the only thing which is going to,
Grow your market.
yes, not only just grow your market, but also it pushes you to innovate more. But at the same time, you should never see competition as competition. You should look at them as, partners, because together you can achieve more. And this also happened when Diabito was acquired by Livongo. So, essentially, if you look at it, Livongo was sort of like a competitor to us in the initial days. But when they saw that, we had a great tech and we had good customers and we were growing at a rapid pace, they felt a need to, merge. So they made us an offer, and that's, how I was able to, or rather, we were able to, work with them in building very nice chronic condition management company.
Yeah, yes. What advice would you give to a first time founder in this space? This is the first time I'm a business owner. This is the first time I'm creating a company servicing clients. What pitfalls would you advise me to be very careful of?
See, one of the few things that, I tell everyone is that one is that you have to use the biggest superpower that has been given to you, which is adaptation. You have to adapt, you have to evolve. And this I'm saying from the perspective of, you should not have like a rigid mind, and that neuroplasticity, you need to, use that pro max level, because when market gives you signals, you have to adapt according to that. You need to know what to change in your product, and at a rapid pace, because after all, everybody is running, and you need a team which is also aligned on the very same purpose. Team building is one of the key to successes. So I would say build a team which is equally passionate to work on this mission. And money alone should not be the factor that they should be optimizing for. Money, of course, is an eventuality of the success that you all together are going to gain. But everybody has to be mission driven. Everybody needs to have that same kind of passion. So that is one of the key things that we look at people when we even hire. There have been multiple times that competitors have tried reaching out to our employees. They come to me saying that they've reached out to us, but that's okay. These kind of things happen. But the good part is that my team is very loyal, and loyalty pays. So I feel having that team is very, very important. And I'm really super proud of my team, because without them, Khayal would not have been what Khayal is today. And in fact, the Khayal brand today is made up of all the faces, which our team has, showcased to the entire community. So there have been times where seniors have come to our booth when we are there in a physical location doing an event, to come and take selfies with our community leaders at Khayal. So
Wow.
the team has done a fabulous job.
Now, as a next step for Khayal, do you imagine building something for caregivers in their 20s, 30s, 40s as well, as a mutually combined activity with their older parents?
Well, we had thought about this, because I've been a caregiver for my parents as well for the longest time, because, my dad was diagnosed with liver cirrhosis when I was in 8th grade. And my mom was diagnosed with cancer when I'd just come back from college. So most of my time I've spent as a caregiver for my parents. So I understand the amount of stress as a caregiver you have to go through. The caregiver stress itself is a huge cohort that can be, like a lot of things can be built around that. Of course, there are a lot of companies which are giving trainings around this to corporates, and we have also given a few trainings in corporates just around this, but we are yet to find commercial viability around this, which is why we have not been able to focus much on this, because you have to see whether people are ready to pay for such a kind of a thing or not. So I think a lot of experiments are gonna
Happen in this.
happen in this, and then we will know whether
Considering some free resources first and then
there are a lot of free resources actually available right now also, if you look at it, but people are not aware.
yeah,
It's just that.
fair enough. And one last question to you before we leave. क्या आप अपने सेहत का ख्याल रख रहे हो?
Khayal has become a big pun in my life. A lot of people also call me the Khayal guy, and this is a question that my wife also asks me like every day. कि तू दूसरे लोगों का तो ख्याल रख रहा है, but खुद का ख्याल रख रहा है क्या? And I'm like, yeah, मतलब to a certain degree, I would say yes. I do work out regularly. I try to, moderate the kind of food that I eat. Of course, with such a high amount of stress that we live in, you need to eat, what you like, for your soul as well. So I moderate everything. But I have healthy practices. I mean, I used to smoke back in the days. I have smoked for 15 years, by the way, from
Yeah.
2000 to 2015.
Wow.
And I quit. But I quit in a very scientific way because I understood the whole science behind it.
Withdrawal.
Yeah, withdrawal symptoms and all of that. I've quit drinking. I've not had alcohol since 2019. So there are a lot of things in our life, that you can moderate and you can change, and simple things that you can change in your life. So I've tried doing that, but again, because I have so much of respect for discipline, and which stems from all the things that I read about the Japanese philosophies and history. I feel discipline is the most important thing. So yeah, I of course want to do more towards my health, and I'm also gonna try and participate in one of the cohorts that you are building for.
Perfect.
Because I'm very interested in knowing my biological age. There are times where people have told me that you look younger than your age, but of course that has been like the Santur moment for me. But I want to actually check कि क्या मतलब what is my age. Even during the time of diabetes, I used to love doing biohacking in some of the other ways, because uh, healthcare was a huge part of what we were building for. When I was in the US, I also did the 23andMe test. And now, in India, you have a similar version of that, which is Map My Genome.
Genome, yeah.
Yeah, so
Mura does a genetic test as well.
yeah.
We collaborated with them to get genetic testing done for our Total Pro and Project Nexus clients. So that's one of our more expensive packages. Those are essentially very immersive, where our diagnostic stack is much more advanced. Our coaches, the programs that are being run, the experts that we have on board are much more advanced. We even have a layer of meal prep and delivery, because a lot of people who are coming onto Project Nexus, see, ultimately a large part of getting healthy revolves around food, right? What you put into your body, and they do not want to go through the stress of learning the recipes, training a chef, doing it themselves. They said, if I can just get my meal prepared by my plan at my location, I'm very, very happy to do away with, the headache of that. So those are what we create. But yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, of course. I
Digress a little bit.
No worries. I mean, these are things that certainly I would want to try. But when you have good problems to solve, your life is busy of just solving like correct problem every now and then. So I'm at that juncture in life right now where I have to work towards a certain goal, focus, and then there are certain things that I follow as discipline. So for me, my morning workouts is like the most important thing, because like the first win,
It's so important. It's so
the first
important.
win of your day.
Me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then eating healthy, of course, is good, but there are times when I also have like cheat meals when I go and eat desserts and ice creams, and these are things that you should like
More
follow.
indulgence, I think, fine. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm a big foodie, so I like to indulge in experiencing different cultures through food, and which is why I speak so many languages as well. Because when you go and sit and spend some time with people of different culture, they will tell you about their food. They'll tell you about the rich heritage and culture which the food brings to the table, and then it starts so many different discussions. So I love that part.
Actually, now I know I asked you a last question, but one actual last question now is, what is one concept from Japanese philosophy that we should all know about and implement in our lives?
I don't know if you know, but our company is Taisho Ventures. Taisho was an emperor which had the most democratic time in the Japanese history. And Taisho also stems from the philosophy of being constant and having symmetry in life. A lot of people also ask me that why haven't you changed your lifestyle after having so much success with your last company. But it just stems from the vipassana type of concept, where if you're constant, and if you don't have too much of expectations from life, or from if you're trying to build something, be constant at it, have that discipline and focus. So these are things that I've learned from the Japanese concept, but also a lot of them are also in India. So there's a very big overlap in multiple different kinds of cultural values, which you'll see in many different countries. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for coming here.